Hi friends, today we are in a workshop and I will be telling you the basic component of any machine. We will also try to see what are the basic components of a lathe, right friends. So, before I start, let me give a brief introduction about a machine or what are the various essential part of a machine. But my dear, before that, let us try to understand what is the difference between a machine and a machine tool. Right. In a machine, you can see that the energy is being converted from one form to another. For example, you are in your bike or in your car, what do you people do? You just put your fuel, it is in the form of chemical energy and it will be converted into the mechanical energy. That is the only energy conversion which is taking place in a machine. Whereas, if you will see a machine tool, it need to have certain components. What is the component required? In a machine tool, there should be a work holding device and a tool holding device, and there should be some motion between them in order to obtain the required finished product. So, that is a basic difference between a machine and a machine tool. In machine, you do not have a work holding device or tool holding device, but if you will see a machine tool, there will be definitely a work holding device and a tool holding device, which I will be showing you shortly. Secondly, I will also tell you what are the essential component that a machine tool should have. Primarily, the first and the foremost thing which is required, that is the lathe or any machine tool bed. Why bed is required? Because in that bed, entire assembly of that machine tool has to be accommodated. That is why it is very important and essential part. So, it is a supporting member which will be carrying the entire load of that dead load of that machine, as well as the work forces that has to be transmitted to the foundation. That is the bed. Second, there should be a work holding device. For example, in a lathe, you might have noticed there is a device or there is an attachment that is called as chuck, which is basically used to hold a workpiece. And there is another component, that is the third component. First component I have told you, that is the bed. The second component, the work holding device, and the third, that is a tool holding device. For example, in a lathe you will have a tool post in which there will be tool holding device, or you will be using your various type of tools for different machining operation. Apart from that, there should be a power transmission system that will help or that will accommodate the relative motion between the tool and the workpiece. These are few of the basic essential component which you can notice in any of the machine, whether it is a lathe, whether it is a shaper, whether it is a milling machine, whether it is a drilling machine. This component has to be there, otherwise it will not be considered as a machine tool, it will be simply considered as a machine. As I told you that we will be seeing few machines today, let us begin with the very first one, that is lathe, which is called as mother of all machines. Now, as I told you, the basic component that is the primary component of any machine, that is this one, which is called as bed. What is the function of a bed? Bed is the component of a machine which accommodate all the dead load of the machine, as well as it also act as a support for this entire machine assembly. If you will see one thing, my dear, what are the function that the bed has to perform? First function what the bed has to perform? It has to carry the load of entire assembly. Secondly, it also have to carry the load of cutting forces that will be induced during machining operation. These are the function which a bed has to perform. Now, the next question which has to be there in your mind, that is, if these are the function, then what are the quality required by which you can select a bed material? आप किस मटेरियल से इस बेड को बनाएंगे? That is another question. So, if you will see, you can understand that grey cast iron is considered as one of the best material for making the assembly. What is the reason behind it? You might have learned in your material science that grey cast iron have the good damping capacity because of the carbon flakes present in it. It is having a good damping capacity. So, why we need to have a good damping capacity? Because while you are doing the machining, there will be lots of vibration in this machine, and that vibrational force has to be absorbed by this body, that is the bed. Otherwise, that will be directly transmitting to the foundation, and if it is going to the foundation and there is not proper isolation, then the entire workshop will start vibrating. So, in order to avoid it, it should have a good damping property. That is the one thing. Second thing is, it should also be rigid enough to withstand the various forces induced. So, these are the two quality that is required to select a material for bed. At the same time, we have to think how to make such a huge structure, how to make such a huge structure of a lathe. It is being manufactured by the process called as casting. So, how the bed are being manufactured? It is manufactured by casting. Why we go for casting? It is basically in casting also it is casted by ground molding, because it is a huge structure, it can't be machined anywhere. So, it need to be what? It need to be casted, and hence casting is the manufacturing process. So, what we have seen? We have seen the material for the bed. Material for the bed is grey cast iron. We have seen what is the manufacturing process. The manufacturing process is casting. And the second thing is, what are the various cross section by which we can make a bed? It can be of I section, it can be of your U section, it can be of H section. So, different cross section will be there for this material. So, this entire thing you need to remember for the lathe bed. So, we have completed the base of this machine, that is called as bed. Now, friends, let us try to move to the next portion of it. The next portion is this one, which you can see here. This is a tray. Why we required a tray in a machine tool? Question is, if we will not use this, this will going to reduce some of cost of us. But my dear, keep in mind, there is chips, you can see here that small chips are there, right, which are produced during machining. If there is no tray over there, then the chip will spread in your entire area of workshop. So, that in order to accommodate the chip which is produced during the machining, you require to have a tray. So, that is the second component. Firstly bed, then tray is there in a lathe. Now, let us try to move to the next portion. You can see here, this is the portion, or this is called as guideway. These are called as guideway. Why it is required guideway? Because in any machine you need to have certain moving parts. Like this, you can see this particular assembly is moving over something. So, that has to be there. A moving part has to be there in order to accommodate the motion of this particular assembly. So, this is called as guideway, and again the guideways are of various shape. For example, if you will have a close observation of it, you can see one thing. The guideways which are provided here are of square shape. There are guideways of V shape also, which I will be showing you in figure. So, in this particular lathe, the guideways which is there, that is of your U shape, right. Now, again what we need to see? We need to see the functionality. So, what is the functionality of guideways? Guideways will assembly, or it will help in the motion of the moving part. That is the function of it. So, if it is providing motion to the moving parts like this, there will be continuously wear and tear in this particular material. So, the guideways has to be scratch resistant, and that property of a material is called as what? Hardness. It should have a proper hardness, and in order to harden it, localized hardening is done, that is called as flame hardening. This question is also prominent in examination, that by what method you are going to harden the guideways or lathe bed. That is by what? That is by your flame hardening. You will provide hardness so that there will not be any local scratches over that particular surface. So, this is the manufacturing process. How you are manufacturing it? You are manufacturing it with the help of hardening, that is flame hardening process. What is the function? It will allow the assembly to move through it. This is the function, and that is the manufacturing process. So, friends, what are the things which we have seen? First, we have seen the bed, then we have seen the tray, then we have seen the guideways. There is one screw which you can see over here. This is called as lead screw. This particular portion is called as lead screw. Why lead screw is given in any lathe machine? Firstly, lead screw will, this particular one you can see that this is a lead screw. Let us have a close observation of it. So, this is a lead screw. Why it is being provided? The question is that. Now, the question can be answered in a very simple manner. Why we need to have this particular lead screw? You know that there will be a power transmission system installed, as I told you, there has to be a power transmission system, and you know that it will be providing a rotational motion. But you need to have a translation motion for the tool like this. You need to move the tool near to the workpiece and away from the workpiece. That translation motion is being provided by this particular object, which is called as a lead screw. With the help of a split nut, there will be a split nut inside this, which we can't show without opening it. So, there will be a split nut, and that assembly will, the assembly of split nut and this lead screw lead to the motion that is converting the rotational motion to the translation motion. That is the particular function of this particular lead screw. So, you understand the function. Now, you tell me what are the property required to select the material for this lead screw. Again, it should have a better abrasive resistance, and in order to achieve it, brass is used as a material for this lead screw. But again, there is a limitation. If you need to have a lathe up to the length of that lathe should be of 2 meter or less than 2 meter, then you are going to use what? You are going to use a brass lead screw. But if the length is above 2 meter but less than 10 meter, then you will be using the stainless steel. Here the stainless steel is being used for making the lead screw. But the question is, if we are having a very huge lathe whose length is more than 10 meter, then what we have to use? We have to use for rack and pinion arrangement. But my dear, if you are going to use a rack and pinion arrangement, then the accuracy of the system will be affected. So, it is generally, we generally try to avoid, we do not go for very big, but if it is required, we will be using the rack and pinion arrangement. So, if it is less than 2 meter, go for brass. If it is 2 to 10 meter, then go for stainless steel, and if it is greater than that, then we go for rack and pinion arrangement. So, you have seen one thing, that abrasive resistance is required, because of which you have selected the material for it. The third thing which you need to see, what is the manufacturing process for this lead screw? It is either by forming, thread forming is called, it is called thread forming. If it is not produced by thread forming, it has to be produced by machining, right. So, that is how you will be producing the thread. Now, the question is, what is the best thread that can be used? You know that square thread have best power efficiency, hence square thread is used in a lathe bed. You can also use Acme thread, that is having an angle of 29 degree, you can also use that, but square have better efficiency, better thread efficiency, hence it is mostly preferred in a lathe. So, if question asks, you will be firstly seeing for, if the option is having square thread, you will be opting for the square thread, otherwise you can go for Acme thread in lead screw. So, this is all about your lead screw. I can show you the split nut from here, from this side. If you can see this, this is a split nut which will be helping you in the conversion, rotation to translation. That is this particular one. This is a split nut, half nut is there, that will be helping in engaging and disengaging. So, this is the lead screw which we have seen. So, now I told you in the very beginning that in any machine there has to be a holding portion, that is a bed, there has to be a work holding position. So, in our lathe, what is a work holding device? The work holding device is this, which you called is as chuck. This is called as chuck, that will be holding this workpiece. This is a workpiece, this is a particularly 3-jaw chuck. You can see from this side, if you will see, you can notice one thing, there are 3 jaws in it, 1, 2 and 3. So, this is called as what? 3-jaw chuck. There are 4-jaw chucks also available, but the 3-jaw chuck are called as self-centered chuck, and it is being used in particularly in your workshop. If you will see, you will mostly see a 3-jaw chuck. There is a key hole over there. With the help of key, you will open this. By this dimension can be increased or decreased. So, what is the function of a chuck? Chuck is used to hold the workpiece in a lathe. So, and what are the type of chuck? 3-jaw chuck, 4-jaw chuck, universal chuck is also there, which will be accommodating the workpiece in it. So, that is a function of a chuck. Now, there is, so this center, as when we'll see the working of it, you can see, you can notice one thing, that it will rotate. That is why as it can rotate, the power is being provided over here, hence it is called as what? Hence it is called as live center. This is also called as what? Live center. So, this is the work holding portion of this particular one. But my dear, you can see here the workpiece which we are using, it is a small one. But my dear, if there will be a long workpiece, and if you are using this, by this, if you are applying the force by in a long workpiece, obviously it will be a long workpiece and the tool will be acting like this, and this has the tendency to chatter between the tool and workpiece, and it can even bend this workpiece. So, in order to do that, another portion of this workpiece also has to be held somewhere, and it is being held by this particular member, which is called as what? Tailstock, which is called as tailstock. Why tailstock is used? It is just used to hold the long member of any machine or any workpiece. Long workpiece is being supported. But you can see one thing here, that as there is no motion in this, it is called as dead center. Motion was here, hence it was called as what? Live center. As no motion is there, hence it will be called as what? This is called as dead center. So, you understand what is the function of this one? Chuck. What is the function of this tailstock? Tailstock is just used to what? Support the long workpiece in this particular lathe. Now, so we have seen the work holding device, my dear. Now, our 2 objective has been completed. One, structure support, that is bed. Another, work holding device, that is the chuck. The third, or tailstock. The third one is tool holding device. What is the tool holding device? You can see, so here this is the tool. You can, if we can zoom here, this is a tool, right? Single point cutting tool, which we have already covered. This is a single point cutting tool, and it is being held by this particular tool post. This is called as a tool post. The entire assembly, this is called as a what? Tool post. It is being assembled over a saddle, and below it, this is the carriage. So, why we are having the carriage? Carriage will provide what? Translation motion to the tool. It can move it like this, or it can move it like this, right? It will be a translating motion. There is one more saddle. What is the function of this? This will provide crosswise movement. That's why it is also called as a cross slide, because it will lead the motion of the tool crosswise like this. You can observe the motion. It is coming outward, and if you will rotate like this, this is also going inward. That is, cross slide will help you to move the tool in and out. And my dear, I just want to show you one very important concept which we will be using while solving a numerical. This concept is very important. So, pay attention over here. So, what I want to show you, that see, if I want to give this kind of feed, workpiece is here, right? Now, friends, let us try to see what are the motion that are being given to this particular tool. So, here you can see one thing, that if I am moving this, like if I am bringing, first what we have to do? Firstly, we have to do the centering of this particular tool. It has to be in center. We have while we are dealing with the machining, I have told you, if there is not proper centering, it will lead to what rubbing of the tool and the workpiece. Even it can affect your rack angle. We have discussed all that. So, you know what is the importance of centering the tool in this workpiece. My friend, I will show you what are the various motion that are being given in to this particular tool post. So, firstly what we need to do, we need to bring this tool near to this workpiece, and after that we will be giving some motion to it. The motion to it which we are giving, this is this motion, you can see here, again mark this point. What you can see here, that once I am moving it, it is giving it inward, it is the tool is moving inward. So, if I need to reduce the length of this particular workpiece, what motion I need to give? I need to give a radial feed. It has to be moved inward. This is called as a facing operation. If you are reducing the length of the workpiece, that is called as a facing operation. And in a facing operation, what kind of feed we generally need to give? We need to give a radial feed. It will be going inward and parting it into the two portion. This is called as what? Facing. This is the also motion which you required in parting. What is the meaning of parting? In parting, you will break the tool, you will break the workpiece into two different parts. So, that is called as parting. Either in facing or parting, radial feed is being given to the tool post. There is one more motion which is required. Why? That what that machining operation which you are doing in workpiece, that is called as turning. Suppose you need to do the plane turning. So, what we have seen the facing operation. So, suppose this is the workpiece and this is the tool. In facing operation, what kind of feed is required? You need to move your tool inward to the workpiece. This is called as radial feed. And in turning operation, what we do in a turning operation? We reduce the dia, keeping the length same. So, in turning operation, we need to give what? We need to give axial feed. Now, how axial feed is being given? Like this. You can see small feed has to be given, and this tool will be moving in this along the axial direction of this particular lathe. So, this is called as what? Plane turning, like this. If you are moving like this, this is called as axial feed. If you are moving like this is called as your radial feed of the tool. So, you understand what is a radial feed and what is the axial feed. This is very essential when you are solving numerical. You need to understand when we need to give the axial feed. If you are doing the facing operation, again my dear, in facing operation the length is reduced and the dia is kept constant. The length of the workpiece is reduced and the dia is kept constant. So, if you want to reduce the length, obviously what motion you need to do? You need to provide this radial motion in it. On the other hand, in turning, what we do, we try to reduce the dia of the workpiece, keeping the length of the workpiece constant, and it can be achieved by giving what? By giving axial feed. You have to give very small axial feed, because this particular object will also keep on turning, and if it is turning, you will be giving what? Axial feed. I will show you this both mechanism when I will start this. So, you understand clearly how the axial feed is given, how the radial feed is given. So, what are the things we have covered till now? We have covered the bed portion, we have also covered the work holding device, we have covered the tool holding device. Now, we need to see the transmission system. Earlier, IC engine used to be there in this transmission system. IC engine, we used to have IC engine, but you know IC engine will create lot of noise and the working condition won't be very comfortable for the workers. And as a result of it, it become absolute once we have developed the electric motors and induction motors. Now, induction motors are widely used as a power transmission in a lathe machine. You can also see here in this particular arrangement, there are various stepped pulleys are being used over here in order to get what? Different speed ratio. Stepped pulleys are being used. And one question which I want to ask you, sir, we can also transmit the power between these two with the help of gear, and that would lead to accurate power transmission. Why we go for a negative power transmission? Slip system is used. Why we go for a negative power system? The reason is very simple. If you will use a gear assembly and suppose there is overloading over here, then the gear system will not break this assembly, it will keep on working. On the other hand, if overloading is here, this belt will come out and this will disengage the entire system, and that is why it is being used as what a power system. Belt drive is particularly used in order to disengage the assembly when overloading is being used, and another is it will also reduce the cost of this particular assembly, because we do not require to have that much accuracy, because positive drives are generally preferred when high accuracy is required. Here machining accuracy is required, but we also have certain limit, tolerance and fit which we are giving to a production engineer. That is why we prefer a negative fit, primarily just in order to break the system when overloading is there. So, this is your transmission system, the transmission portion of it. This is the top view of the guideways. You can see this entire assembly will move over this particular one. This is the guideway. You can have the top view of it. It is of square shape. Similarly, the grooves which are there, it is of square shape. The shape can be of your V shape can be there. So, there are various shapes which are present, and that will be accommodating or that will be facilitating the motion of this particular carriage in the loop. And this another one, this is a lead screw. So, square thread is there, and basically it is made up of stainless steel. You can see, you can observe it. One of the question that may arise in your mind, how one can specify the lathe? One can specify the lathe by the swing or the maximum size of a dia that can be accommodated here. कितना बड़ा diameter का आप object इसके अंदर place कर सकते हो, that is the specification, or that is the first specification of the lathe. So, that is called as what? Swing or the maximum diameter of workpiece that can be hold in this particular lathe. That is the first specification of the lathe. What is the second specification of a lathe? Lathe has only two specification, my dear. Second specification is the length of the workpiece that can be hold in this particular lathe. So, there are two specification of lathe. One is the swing, that is the maximum diameter that can be hold in that particular lathe, and the second, the maximum length of a object that can be there or that can be accommodated in the lathe. So, this is the specification. Mostly the students confuse between two terms. One is the specification, another is the features. So, specification I have told there are two specification. First, swing or the maximum diameter of the object that can be hold. Second, that is the length of the object that can be accommodated in this particular length. These are the two specification of a lathe. So, the second question is, what is the features of lathe? Firstly, what is the distance between this bed and the chuck? This distance, this height I am talking, this length is one of the feature. Second, what is the dia of object that you can hold over here? This is the second feature. And third is, what is the length of this particular portion, that is between this is the live center and this is the dead center. What is the distance between these two? This is the features of a lathe. One more feature is there, that is what? The entire length of this bed, including this entire section, that is from that tip to this end. These are what the features of a lathe. Let me repeat again. What is the lateral distance of bed and the tool? So, this is first feature. Second is, what is the maximum dia that you can hold over here? That is the second feature. Third is, what is the length or what is the distance between the live center and the dead center? This is the third feature. And the fourth one is your entire length of the bed, including the transmission portion. So, this from here till end, this is the third feature of a lathe. So, this four are the features of lathe, and specification I have told you earlier. So, keep in mind specification is only two and this entire thing is features. And why we generally try to define specification? Specification is needed because once one person will go, so he in a shop, or if he want to have a, if he want to purchase a lathe, then he need to specify that I need to operate at a maximum this much dia of object and at a maximum this much length of the object. So, according to that one will design the lathe. So, these are the two specification, and all other 4 parameters which I told, that are what, that are the features of the lathe machine. Friends, let us try to observe a vertical drilling machine, a vertical drilling machine. This is a vertical drilling machine. So, what are the things here? This is the arm that can lead to the motion of this particular one. It can move like your arm in this radial direction. So, it will be covering a sector, and you can do the machining in entire this particular range. Next motion which is possible over here is this motion, that will lead to what, that will bring it down and up. So, what we can see here, you can see like this. If you need, you can move the workpiece like to the arm to the left, and you can do the matching. But before that, what is the meaning of drilling? Drilling is a process in which what we are doing, we are creating a hole in a plate. So, you can see here, this is a plate in which there we have created a hole like this, like in this scale also we have created a hole. So, if you want to have a hole in a plate, it has to be done by a tool assembly that is called as a driller. This is a drilling machine. And so, what is the definition of drilling? That is making a hole in a workpiece, that is called as drilling. And if this existing hole, if I am increasing the radius of this hole, this is called as what, boring. So, this is particularly we are using it for drilling. This is called as a drill bit. This particular one is the drill bit, and in this drill bit flutes are there. This particular ones we can have a close observation of it, that this is a flute. You can see how the flute look like in of a drill bit. Now, the question is why we are providing this flute. This flutes are being provided for easy removal of chip that are being produced during machining. So, why flutes are being provided? These are provided in order to easily remove the chip which are produced during machining. This particular angle you can see, this is called as a helix angle which is there in the drill bit. This all are the specification of drill bit. So, this is the helical angle which is there. You can see this angle which is there. If I'll try to show, you can observe an angle over here. This is the helix angle. Why this helix angle are provided? Helix angle are what? They are increasing towards the periphery. They are minimum at the center and increase towards and maximum towards the periphery. This is how the helical angles are being provided. So, I have told you why we are providing the flute. Flute are being provided in order to easily remove the chips that are produced during the machining process. So, this is a particular radial drilling machine. We can see one more machine which will be doing the same one, but it is not a vertical drilling machine. So, this just I want to tell you the classification. This is a vertical drilling machine. Similarly, we can also perform the function in another drilling machine. This one is a horizontal drilling machine. We can see the drilling operation can be done in this particular one, and this is called as what? Your horizontal drilling machine. So, in a horizontal drilling machine, again you can see here, this is a 3-jaw chuck. This is a 3-jaw chuck which will be used. Why we particularly prefer in our workshop to have a 3-jaw chuck? Because it is a automatic chuck. We do not to go for centering of it. It automatically does that. This is a drill bit. This is a drill bit, and in this we will be giving the motion. This is how you will be giving the motion. This is, we are giving inward motion for drilling operation. Once the drilling is over, we can bring it out. The same motion which you have seen in a lathe. So, vertically what I want to say, that the horizontal drilling can also be done in our lathe machine, which we have already discussed. We have also seen the operation, how we are going to do the drilling in lathe machine. So, this is your vertical drilling or radial drilling machine, more precisely I will call radial drilling machine. Why it is radial? Because it can perform in this particular entire radial direction or sectorial direction. So, this is your what? This is your radial drilling machine. This facility is not there in this horizontal drilling machine. Secondly, the specification. If I will talk about the specification, what is the particular distance or the travel which is there in this particular arm? And secondly, what is the length of this particular arm, that is what sectorial angle it can cover. This is how this radial drilling machine are being specified. This is a vertical milling machine. So, in this what we are trying to do, you can see here, here the tool, this is a tool post, this is called as the arbor. Here we plant a tool, generally we use end face cutter for milling in this. This is a work bench wise, here we will just hold or accommodate the work. So, we will be doing that accommodation of this particular job will be there in this particular portion. As I told you, in any of the machine there should be some basic portion which you can see or observe in this also. There has to be bed, again this is the bed of this particular milling machine. There has to be a tool holding device. So, this is your tool holding device. There has to be a work holding device. This is your work holding device. There has to be a power transmission system. You can see here in this portion there is a induction motor which is installed over this. So, this is also the same kind of machine. You can see what I have told you, that in any of the machine tool this few basic components should must be there. And next you can see the guideways are also there for what, for allowing the motion of the moving part in this. Now, what the interesting thing which we can notice in this particular object or particular machine, if you remember the lathe, in lathe what we used to do, our workpiece used to rotate at the same place, means we are not giving feed to the workpiece, we used to give feed to what? We used to give feed to the tool. Suppose this is the tool and this is the chuck, and if this is the chuck, this will be rotating like this and the tool will be coming near to it and it will be performing the machining. This is the condition when you are operating with lathe. But if you will see the milling operation, what the basic difference here? The tool rotate at a single position and we give feed to the workpiece. The table feed is there, this is called as a table, work table, and this table is given as feed. That means the difference is, in milling machine the tool is at stationary position, means that won't be moving, but the workpiece will be moving. Even if you will see the shaper, in shaper what happens, the work is stationary, workpiece is stationary, sorry, in shaper we give both. Let us try to see or observe how a shaper works. So, in shaper if you will see, this is a shaper and this is your tool post in this particular shaper, and in this is the work holding device of the shaper. You can notice one thing, in shaper the work is also given feed and the tool is also given feed. In shaper we give feed to both tool as well as workpiece. In lathe we give feed only to the tool. In milling machine we give feed to the table, but in lathe we give feed to both. Now, let me tell few things about this lathe also. You can observe in this lathe, this is the let us try to see few things about shaper. In this shaper, this is the bed of the shaper. There has to be a work holding device. This is the workbench to accommodate the workpiece. You can see here we have mounted a gear, because we will be doing the gear cutting in this operation. So, gear is mounted over here as a workpiece. This is a single point cutting tool which is mounted over here, and that means this is the your tool holding device of the shaper. In shaper we give horizontal feed to the tool and we give transverse feed to the workpiece or to the table. This is how this shaper is working. Again, it will also have the power transmitting unit, that is the motor which is mounted on that end of it. These are generally induction mounted induction motor. Once the invention of induction motor is there, entire IC engine motors are obsolete, it is not being used anymore. So, these are few things which we need to see about the various machine tools.
So friends, hope you like this particular video, and I hope this will be helpful for you for your machining operations. And I would like to thank Mr. Sushil Sahu sir especially, who was having a tiring day. Still he managed his time to come to this workshop and prepare this particular video. I hope this will you have enjoyed this video a lot, and this will help you a lot for your studies.
Thank you, sir, for giving me this opportunity to teach your children, and that will help the students to learn. We'll also try to give brief processing while we will be dealing the processing in detail. I'll also try to give brief operational. So, because if you observe a machining, what I feel, sir, if we'll observe the machining, that it will lead to a clear understanding what we are learning and how it will be being implemented when you are solving a numerical. If you are calculating the time required for machining, that need to understand how the feed has to be given, what is the distance traveled by the tool. These are few things which I feel particularly the student should take care of.
Definitely, and this actually is the extra edge we at Ascent are giving to the students. जहाँ पर भी हो सके हम कोशिश करते हैं कि रियल टाइम की चीज़ें आए, इंडस्ट्रीज़ की चीज़ें स्टूडेंट्स को एक्चुअल में समझ में आए. एंड दिस एक्चुअली इज़ द एडवांटेज ऑफ ई लर्निंग ओवर क्लासरूम प्रोग्राम. क्लासरूम में हमारी टीचर की एक लिमिटेशन होती है, वो उस लिमिटेशन से ऊपर नहीं जाता. बट यहाँ हमारी कोई लिमिटेशन नहीं है, एंड वी यूज़ इट टू द मैक्सिमम पॉसिबल एक्सटेंट एंड फॉर ऑफ कोर्स फॉर द बेनिफिट ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स. Okay, so thank you so much for this particular watching this particular video. All the best.